Lost Ark, the Korean MMORPG released in the West a while ago. Published by Amazon, it saw immediate, explosive popularity. Even now, months after its initial boom, there are hundreds of thousands of people playing it at any given moment, and 1 million plus people playing it every day. Odd then, that it features a stylistic choice that a large chunk of contemporary media criticism would have you believe stifles expansion and success by excluding entire demographics. Subclasses in Lost Ark are all gender-locked. Want to be a gunslinger? Gotta be female. Want to be a Deadeye, the shotgun back attack version of Gunslinger? Gotta be male. Even more drastic is that if you want to play a warrior of any kind, your character must be male. Want to be a mage or assassin? No boys allowed. It's almost as if critics often talk a load of crap that doesn't actually matter or function in the way they assert through their theory, the worthless hot air they spew being dissipated by the tiniest sliver of reality. It's like they read the first chapter of an intro to semiotics book and thought they'd been handed the keys to ultimate knowledge. So you'll understand why it was with immediate skepticism that I read some tweets on the Bluebird Hellscape site exclaiming that an excerpt from a new book was Games Workshop siding with the gatekeepers against women. To a normal person, this sounds like little more than a case of undiagnosed paranoid schizophrenia being handed a smartphone. And yet, against my better judgment, I decided to look further and figure out what this meant. In Games Workshop's grim dark Warhammer setting, there is a kind of super soldier called a Space Marine. Space Marines are all men. That's just how it was imagined by whoever made them up, and Games Workshop simply said it again, by literally copy and paste quoting an old book into a new release, explaining that in their world, only men are appropriate candidates to be made into a Space Marine. Horrifying, I know. How dare they? This is a problem, apparently, because it excludes women, impacts society, should reflect society, and many other grand assertions based on nothing more than subjective vibes and bias. All of this being spouted while claiming that all who disagree lack media literacy or otherwise are simply bigots and gatekeepers, whatever that means. I have no problem whatsoever with people's personal experiences and preferences in made-up stuff, and art, in fun. If someone was saying that they think it sucks that Space Marines aren't women, just because that's what they'd like, okay, whatever. I don't have the same taste, but I'm not gonna shit on you for that. The problem comes when moral arguments and claims about objective reality are cloaked in "Tee-hee, I'm doing an art criticism. Oh, ever heard of it, stupid gamer boys? You don't understand." When you claim that a stylistic choice in a book about make-believe spacemen is siding with a group of bigots and harming people based on their sex, you are, 1, definitely not all there in the head, and 2, morally condemning the authors of said book for their art, not critiquing the art itself. Unless, of course, you think siding with bigots and harming women is good. This is change things how I want or be smeared by weirdos, not an intellectual, thoughtful dissection of art. But woe is me. This is the internet. Many of those who oppose these disgusting freaks are disgusting freaks themselves, reminiscent of the football hooligan-inspired orcs of the 40k galaxy, providing their opponents with abundant self-owns to print screen and paste into a tweet, thus proving their intellectual superiority to randoms on the internet, and therefore also proving that what they say must be true. You know how it goes. I thought, because of that, it might be nice to present some fun arguments in favor of girl-free Space Marines in terms the people I've been looking at will find more agreeable. Free of yobbism, misspellings, and misogyny you may be able to cherry-pick on Twitter. It's been a long time since I was really into Warhammer, collecting Necrons, Orcs, and Chaos, when I was of a more appropriate age to be playing with molded plastic. So please forgive me if I don't dive into lore. I can't remember too much, and don't believe it's necessary for this. Masculinity simply suits Space Marines, both on an aesthetic level of fitting their vibe, but also because, taking the Imperium as commentary on reality, it is meaningful that men, and men only, are in the position they are. To include women would break many parallels that can be drawn with history, degrading its ability to be used as an analogy, and therefore defanging it as satire of fascism. Can critics of Games Workshop's decision really say that picking only men as the group that embody an ideal carries no weight in terms of commentary? That it's merely there to appease people who want girls out? There should be minimal chance, no matter how much you enjoy the edge, of muddying the point that you aren't actually playing the good guys. Not being able to identify with a faction personally is a good thing here, not an injustice. Not necessarily for a moral reason, but because that is part of what makes the faction what it is. It is this change, not that it will be adding women in this specific example, that is ruinous. Plus, paradoxically, to include women on the basis that it is a good thing to do so creates a situation where you are doing PR work for a fantasy dictatorship, making such an attempt at inclusion exclusionary on the basis that it works to decrease the negative impact on viewers of a representation of an oppressive totalitarian state. You would be blunting the criticism that exists in the choice to have Space Marines be exclusively male. And an anti-fascist woman, the kind of person I'd expect you to want in your hobby, should prefer a stronger attack on fascism, rather than desiring that the fascist faction itself be more appealing to her directly. Those advocating for female Space Marines may therefore be looked at as the ones trying to court bigots, if even accidentally. Additionally, in a world populated by aliens and humans of all kinds, variety, or diversity if you prefer, is obviously valuable and enjoyable. There's a lot of choice. The issue is on what level the diversity occurs. Warhammer very much focuses on groups and factions. Unless you're playing one of the more niche products, you build an army, not a character. So I'd say difference between groups is most important over difference within groups. A world that has groups of beings that are only male, groups that are only female, and groups that are a mix, neither, or something else entirely, is more diverse than a world that only has groups of mixed sex or has no groups that are male only. The way I see it, to put it simply, Warhammer 40k currently features meaningful diversity and an anti-fascist message. But these misguided critics are working to reduce or remove both for some reason. It's strange, but as usual, that's just another one of my harmful opinions.